Swadika, hello and welcome to ASEAN Challenge, the show to give you the latest headlines, hot topics and updates happening around your ASEAN bloc in two languages, Thai and English. I'm Rosalyn Tepawan.
And I'm Alisa สิทธิวงศ์ขอต้อนรับคุณผู้ชมทุกท่านเข้าสู่รายการ ASEAN Challenge ค่ะข่าวสารรอบอาเซียนเป็นภาษาอังกฤษและภาษาไทย
The elections in Cambodia coming up. But meanwhile, let's go take a look at what's happening with the U.S. in their movement to pressure Cambodia to become a more democratized nation. The U.S. the State Department rather, said recently they called on the release of Cambodia's imprisoned opposition leader and to reverse its decision to ban the opposition CNRP party. So despite that movement from the Cambodian ruling party, the U.S. is still trying to put pressure on the country.
That's right. As we know that next year Cambodia will be holding their big general election going on, and the opposition party, which is considered as a very popular party at the moment now, well, after the arrest of the party leader Kem Sok on September 3rd, now a lot of the party members still supported him and wanted to continue on with the party's missions, and after that, of course, led to the dissolving of the main opposition party altogether. 118 members of the party were banned for 5 years on political activity, and so at the moment it has created some response from the United States. And according to the State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert, she told reporters that the Cambodia's government decision marks a sharp reversal in the ideals in Cambodia's constitution.
Right, definitely. So the U.S. will continue their ongoing efforts to put pressure to democratize Cambodia much more. But with that said, there'll still be staunch opposition from the ruling administration in Cambodia as well. So it seems that the situation will be ongoing for quite some time. And the election outcomes, well, we can perhaps see what's going to happen in the near future as what happened over the past 3 decades. So with that said, we'll keep you posted on more coming from Cambodia, an up-and-coming ASEAN country as well.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันต่อข่าวที่เกี่ยวข้องกับประเทศกัมพูชานะคะแต่คราวนี้มาดูว่าสหรัฐเนี่ยค่ะมีปฏิกิริยาอะไรกับการที่ทางศาลฎีกาได้ยุบฝ่ายค้านนั่นเองนะคะทางทำเนียบขาวเนี่ยค่ะก็ได้ออกมาแถลงการว่าก็ขอให้รัฐบาลกัมพูชาเนี่ยค่ะของสมเด็จฮุนเซนเนี่ยเพิกถอนมาตรการทั้งหมดที่ใช้กับพรรคกู้ชาติกัมพูชาหรือว่า NRP นั่นเองนะคะซึ่งถือว่าเป็นพรรคแกนนำฝ่ายค้านแล้วก็รวมถึงการปล่อยตัวนายเกิมสุขขานะคะหัวหน้าพรรคCNRP ด้วยซึ่งได้ถูกจับเมื่อเดือนกันยายนที่ผ่านมานะคะทางทำเนียบขาวก็ได้เตือนว่าจะใช้มาตรการอย่างเด็ดขาดที่สุดถ้าหากไม่ปลดปล่อยนะคะ
ค่ะก็นับว่าที่กัมพูชานะคะการเลือกตั้งก็ร้อนแรงทีเดียวนะคะเราก็จะคอยอัปเดตเรื่อยๆว่าจะมีการก้าวหน้าหรือว่าคืบหน้าอะไรต่อไปค่ะ But in the meantime, let's take a look at what's happening elsewhere on a lighter note this time in the Philippines. Let's take a look at a very globally recognized art battle that's been taking place in Manila involving lots of colorful artists and creative designers.
That's right. So this competition here is called Art Battle, and in which in Philippines, of course, what it was an event that occurred in which artists got together. They had 20 minutes to make a reality painting. So it was like a live painting, on the spot painting event. They had 20 minutes to paint, and then after that, of course, judges would be judging each person's artwork or masterpiece according to the crowd and how they cheered for each piece. So an event like this, of course, enhances and promotes artistic and cultural aspects of the Philippines. Now this one was held on Manila on November 18th, so very recently.
Right, talk about pressure though. Painting and creating while spectators are watching and cheering you on, and various judges are circling around trying to judge your talents. So still, it's almost like a reality show, you could say, but here you could see dozens of illustrators, around a dozen, a bit more artists as well, painting on white canvases here using acrylic paint for 20 full minutes while people circle around and vote for the best work here. And altogether, what happened is the digital illustrator who painted his 2 works depicting his girlfriend's face in bright red, blue, green, and yellow actually ended up winning the 3-round tilt here. His name is Nico Palace, and making him eligible for the national finals to happen next year.
That's right. So competitive painting under this art battle name is also held in other major cities as well, including Canada, Tokyo, and in the United Kingdom as well. So it's a very recognized art battle competition in which, of course, next year, as mentioned, they will have their national finals. So we'll keep you posted, of course, in terms of when that's going to be, and that's definitely something to look into, especially if you're planning to travel into the Philippines around 2018.
This is a splendid idea. They should make an ASEAN art battle and have various designers and artists battle it out around ASEAN plus.
Maybe this event will be able to grow, or similar events will be able to come from this idea. So it is indeed a very good and very recreational event for people to join in.
Right, indeed. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for the next event, hopefully coming into our neighborhood sometime soon.
ใช่แล้วค่ะมาดูกันในส่วนข่าวต่อไปนะคะไปกันที่ประเทศฟิลิปปินส์กันค่ะอย่างที่เราเห็นกันในขณะนี้นะคะก็เราจะเห็นศิลปินมากมายหลายคนเลยทีเดียวนะคะที่กรุงมะนิลาก็เป็นการรวมกันแข่งขันการวาดภาพนะคะทางศิลปินเนี่ยก็จะมีเวลา20นาทีด้วยกันในการแข่งขันที่เรียกว่า Art Battle หลังจากที่ผ่านไป20นาทีแล้วนะคะก็ทางคณะกรรมการก็จะไปดูแต่ละผลงานของแต่ละคนกันแล้วก็จะตัดสินตามคะแนนจากกองเชียร์ที่อยู่ในระแวกนั้นนั่นเอง
ตื่นเต้นมากเลยนะคะสำหรับทางศิลปินเองนะคะก็มีความกดดันไม่น้อยเลยนะคะจากท่านผู้ชมแล้วก็ท่านกรรมการด้วยแต่ว่าใช้อะคริลิกแล้วก็ออกแบบภาพทันตาเห็นภายใน20นาทีเป็นอะไรที่น่าสนุกนะคะก็หวังว่าจะมาแข่งกันสงครามศิลปะที่กรุงเทพกันด้วยเร็วๆนี้นะคะ
ค่ะเอากันค่ะไปดูกันต่อที่ข่าวต่อไป going to some more light news updates about giant panda cub in which was born in Malaysia of course. Now this cub here called Nuan, first female giant panda cub to be born in Malaysia, has returned to China. So of course before the tourists can go and see Nuan, of course Nuan has to go through about a month of physical checkups before being available for the public to see on the 15th of December. However, this panda cub has already arrived in China. It was born in 2015, August 18th to be exact, and it was, well, China had loaned pandas Nuan to Malaysia, and Nuan was born there, and so now Nuan has to go back home in order to go visit to greet people in China.
Right, indeed. All pandas must return to China where they belong, according to various critics. They say giant pandas are like symbols of peace that can unite different countries, but ultimately they return home. And that said, Nuan took her special flight back home from the KL International Airport, heading to her native home in southwest China's Sichuan province. That wrapped up her more than 2 years' life in Malaysia. So it's exciting times for Nuan, but also at the same time she's got to transition and you could say re-acclimatize to China. Sichuan province.
But don't worry, of course, they did make sure that the transition was very smooth and very happy for Nuan. She had bamboo food for the giant panda, and the flight was about 4.5 hours, 4 hours 20 minutes before landing in the Sichuan area. And before going to China, of course, Nuan was in her adaptation for future solitary life. So the Malaysian National Zoo made preparations for 2 months before Nuan made her journey back home, including separating her from her parents, feeding her alone, and making her get used to the vehicles and crates for transportation.
Right.
So, of course, very friendly travel or happy travels for Nuan.
Well, that is good. Sad times, though, for Malaysia, though, as you saw that board, so many people writing their goodbyes and bidding their farewells to Nuan. So a panda definitely receives lots of love wherever they go. But at the same time, they have to train so hard before they transition back, staying in crates, getting used to small areas and small spaces. Must be quite some time preparing, though.
Well, for those of you who missed Nuan, you can go and see Nuan once again on the 15th of December in China. So, she's still around. She just moved back home.
There you go.
ค่ะมาดูกันต่อนะคะที่ประเทศมาเลเซียนั่นเองนะคะซึ่งมีลูกแพนด้าที่ก็ได้กลับสู่ประเทศจีนนะคะประเทศจีนก็ถือว่าได้ยกแพนด้าให้กับแต่ละประเทศแต่หลังจากที่สักพักหนึ่งแล้วเนี่ยหลังจากข้อตกลงแล้วแพนด้าก็ต้องกลับประเทศเป็นเรื่องปกติอยู่แล้วนะคะแพนด้าตัวนี้นะคะมีชื่อว่าหนวนนั่นเองนะคะเป็นแพนด้าที่เกิดที่มาเลเซียในปี 2015 เมื่อวันที่ 18 สิงหาคม 2015 นั่นเองค่ะก็ได้ขึ้นเครื่องบินเดินทางจากมาเลเซียกลับสู่ภูมิลำเนามณฑลเสฉวนนั่นเองนะคะก็ก่อนที่จะให้ประชาชนสามารถที่จะชมแพนด้าน้อยตัวนี้ได้นะคะก็ต้องมีการตรวจสุขภาพเป็นเวลา1 เดือนก่อนแล้วก็จะเปิดให้ประชาชนได้รับชมได้วันที่ 15 ธันวาคมเป็นต้นไปค่ะ
ใช่ค่ะก็เป็นช่วงที่หนวนจะต้องใช้เวลาปรับตัวใหม่นะคะจากประเทศมาเลเซียซึ่งอยู่ที่นั่นไป2 ปีอะค่ะกลับไปประเทศจีนนะคะก็ต้องปรับตัวสักนิดนึงแต่คนก็อย่างที่เห็นกระดาน goodbye นั่นนะคะเขียนเป็นร้อยคนเลยค่ะต้องคิดถึงกันมากๆใครคิดถึงก็ไปเยี่ยมที่ประเทศจีนนะคะที่ซีฉวนนั่นเองค่ะ
All right, moving on to other news updates. Speaking about China in terms of China's support for Cambodia in pursuing its own developmental path. Now, according to the Foreign Ministry spokesperson, on Friday, November 17th, he had said that China supports Cambodia in pursuing its own development path after Cambodia's Supreme Court has dissolved the country's main opposition party at the request of the government of Prime Minister Hun Sen ahead of the elections next year. So this comes after the arrest of the opposition party leader Kem Suk back in September. So now, of course, China is supporting that in order to allow them to continue on with what they want to do.
Indeed. So with that said, with such a power backing Cambodia, they have no reason to really fear the U.S. pressure so much at this point. But altogether, it's a pivotal time for Cambodia with so many challenges about explaining why the government has been working harder to crack down on opposition. But altogether, the ban on the CNRP decreed by the Supreme Court recently at the government's request had been, you could say, received lukewarmly by China.
That's right. So Cambodia, of course, has been creating really friendly ties recently with China, and China, of course, has voiced that they are behind the Cambodian government in their decisions, in which, of course, China and Cambodia have become very important allies and friends with each other for more than 3 decades in power already. So China is, of course, as we know, by far the biggest single donor to Cambodia and its biggest investor as well.
ใช่แล้วค่ะก็นับว่าการตอบรับนะคะการตัดสินใจจากสันติกาของประเทศกัมพูชานะคะที่จะยุบพรรคฝ่ายค้านนะคะในประเทศกัมพูชาเนี่ยก็ประเทศจีนก็ตอบรับแบบให้โอกาสประเทศกัมพูชาดำเนินการของเขาเองอะค่ะแบบไม่ได้กดหรือว่าไม่ได้ใส่pressure นะคะเหมือนที่สหรัฐอเมริกาทำใช่
ค่ะก็เพราะว่าประเทศจีนนะคะก็ถือว่าเป็นเพื่อนเป็นพันธมิตรกับประเทศกัมพูชาอย่างยาวนานเลยนะคะซึ่งทางเจ้าหน้าที่ระดับสูงด้านนโยบายต่างประเทศของจีนเนี่ยจริงๆแล้วก็ได้กล่าวว่ารัฐบาลปักกิ่งเนี่ยสนับสนุนความพยายามของกัมพูชาในการรักษาสิ่งที่เขาเรียกว่าเสถียรภาพทางการเมืองท่ามกลางบรรยากาศตึงเครียดระหว่างรัฐบาลพนมเปญกับสหรัฐก็อย่างที่คุณโรสลินได้พูดไปว่าทางสหรัฐเนี่ยค่อนข้างที่จะกดดันประเทศกัมพูชาแต่ว่าประเทศจีนเนี่ยถือว่าสนับสนุนไม่ว่ากัมพูชาจะตัดสินใจอย่างไรค่ะ
ใช่ค่ะเราก็จะคอยอัปเดตนะคะว่าสถานการณ์จะดำเนินการยังไงต่อนะคะจะมีความก้าวหน้าหรือว่าจะมีเหตุการณ์อะไรเกิดขึ้นจากประเทศกัมพูชาและประเทศจีนกับสหรัฐด้วยค่ะแต่ว่า in the meantime let's see what's happening in Indonesia with the beached whales. There have been recent reports to investigating the deaths of recent whales that have been beached, 4 altogether in Indonesia's Aceh province. Now, officials are trying to move ahead and investigate the cause behind their deaths as autopsies continue on those 4 dead whales.
That's right. So Indonesian volunteers have managed to save 6 whales beached on the northern tip of Sumatra, but of course, unfortunately, 4 had died. Rescuers had worked late night to free 6 of them, and in which they were able to put them back into the ocean, of course. But however, 4 of them had lost their lives previously, of course, due to starvation, lack of water, and so forth. It's not where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be in the water, of course. So Luckily, they were able to save 6. A lot of people did go and viewed or went to go see the situation ongoing at the beaches, as we can currently see at the moment.
Right, indeed. With Indonesia, it's a very complicated situation because the country itself is a vast archipelago of more than 17,000 islands. So in 2016, just to look into the history here, 29 pilot whales were briefly trapped in a mangrove swamp off the eastern coast of Java, but they managed to free themselves or they were helped back to the sea by fishermen. But in this case, it's a bit more difficult. Conservation agencies in Aceh said that it's still a mystery why these sperm whales, which are among the biggest of the mammals on the planet, had been washed up on shallow water. Still something to be solved.
That's right. So though they say it is quite unusual, whale beachings have been seen in other parts of Indonesia, a vast archipelago of over 17,000 islands. So they have seen it before. However, the situation does not happen very often. In 2016, for example, 29 pilot whales were briefly trapped in a mangrove swamp off the eastern coast of Java, but managed to free themselves or were helped back into the sea by fishermen.
Right, so this is an ongoing case around our ASEAN community where a lot of marine life are just all over.
ใช่ละค่ะมาดูกันในส่วนข่าวที่ประเทศอินโดนีเซียนะคะในขณะนี้ที่เราเห็นกันในภาพเจ้าหน้าที่การประมงจังหวัดอาเจนะคะก็ได้เปิดเผยว่ามีวาฬหัวทุยทั้งหมด10ตัวนะคะที่ถูกพบที่ชายหาดอูจงการงนั่นเองนะคะก็มี4ตัวที่ได้เสียชีวิตไปเพราะอาการบาดเจ็บแล้วก็ขาดน้ำนะคะแต่ว่าสามารถที่จะช่วยได้6ตัวนะคะให้กลับเข้าไปในน้ำอีกทีนึงเหตุการณ์แบบนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นเรื่องเศร้าสำหรับตัวปลาวาฬนะคะแต่ว่าเหตุการณ์แบบนี้เกิดขึ้นไม่ค่อยบ่อยนักก็โชคดีที่เกิดขึ้นไม่ค่อยบ่อยนะคะ
ใช่ค่ะแต่ก็เป็นเรื่องที่ต้องคอยจับตาดูนะคะเพราะว่าในอดีตที่ผ่านมาเมื่อปี2016เนี่ยนะคะปีที่แล้วก็เจ้าหน้าที่ก็ได้นับว่ามีกว่า29ปลาวาฬนะคะที่ได้ถูกพัดขึ้นมาหรือว่าถูกเขาบอกว่าไปติดในแมงโกรฟนะคะในแต่ละเกาะเพราะประเทศอินโดนีเซียเนี่ยก็จะเป็นเกาะมากกว่า 17,000 เกาะนะคะซึ่งก็เป็นสถานที่ที่ท้าทายสำหรับ Marine Life นั่นเองซึ่งก็มีเยอะมากค่ะในอินโดนีเซียกับอาเซียนแล้วก็จะคอยรายงานอัปเดตนะคะว่าจะมีเหตุการณ์แบบนี้อะไรเกิดขึ้นในอาเซียนเพิ่มเติมแต่ว่า right now time for a short break when we come back ASEAN calendar ahead so stay with us
พักกันสักครู่ค่ะWelcome back to the program and on to ASEAN calendar, of course. Lots of highlighted events coming up soon.
Let's check it out.
The 20th of November 2017, Royal Thai Navy Day. November 20 is annually observed as Royal Thai Navy Day, commemorating the date in 1906 that King Chulalongkorn officially opened the Royal Thai Naval Academy. Established in 1898 and originally located on the Royal Yacht Mahachakri and some other boats donated by the king, the academy later moved to Wangdom Palace in Thonburi, in the compound of the present headquarters of the Royal Thai Navy, then to Sattahip, and finally to its current location in Samut Prakan in 1952. The Royal Thai Navy had become active on April 8, 1887, established by Admiral Prince Apakara Kyatiwong, Prince of Chumphon, who is considered the father of the Royal Thai Navy. His birthday is observed by ceremonies on December 19th of each year. Royal Thai Navy Day is not to be confused with Thai Navy Memorial Day on January 17th, which commemorates a decisive battle with the French off Got Chang in 1941. The first major engagement by the fledgling Siamese Navy occurred on July 13, 1893, in what has come to be called the Pak Nam Incident, during the Franco-Siamese War. While sailing off Pak Nam through Siam's Chao Phraya River, 3 French ships were fired on by Fort Julajom Klao and a force of 5 gunboats when attempting to cross the bar on the way to the capital city of Bangkok. The Siamese also sunk several junks and a cargo ship in the river, creating only one narrow passage which the French had to traverse. Ultimately, the French forced their way through the Siamese line, ramming and sinking 1 gunboat in the process. Another was hit by shell fire. 10 men were killed and 12 others wounded. 1 French warship was grounded on Lam Lampu Rai, while 2 ships proceeded on to Bangkok. 3 French men were killed and 2 others were wounded. The Siamese fort was not damaged. In January 2003, anti-Thai riots were sparked in Phnom Penh by incorrect news reports of a claim by a Thai actress that the Angkor Wat temple complex belonged to Thailand, not Cambodia. Chakri Narubed was sent to help with any evacuation of Thai citizens from Cambodia. Following an undersea earthquake in the Indian Ocean, tsunamis struck multiple regions around the Indian Ocean, including the Andaman Sea coast of Thailand. The personnel of Chakri Narubed were part of a 760-craft-strong response by the Thai military to the disaster. This task force was involved in search and rescue around Phuket and the PP Islands, treatment of wounded and handling of dead, and repair work to schools and government facilities. During the August 2005 filming of Rescue Dawn, a dramatized biographical film of U.S. Navy pilot Dieter Dengler and his capture during the Vietnam War, the flight deck of Chakri Narubed was used to represent the carrier USS Ranger. In November 2010, the ship was involved in flood relief operations following the 2010 Thai floods. Anchored off Songkhla province, relief supplies and food were airlifted to people in the region, while hospital patients were evacuated by the ship's helicopters. Chakri Narubed was sent to Koh Tao in late March during the 2011 southern Thailand floods, as the heavy storms causing the flooding had isolated the island, requiring the evacuation of tourists and local citizens.
Higantes Festival. The month of November is the busiest time of the year for the Angono folks. This is the time when people prepare themselves for the celebration of the Higantes Festival. The festivity got its name from the papier-mâché giants that are always brought out to include in the celebrations. The origin of these giants were said to be papier-mâché giants used by the Angono natives before the Spanish oppressors as a form of protest against them. The preparations start as early as September. During this time, you can hear faint sounds of drums and lyres practicing their parade pieces, whether a traditional parade piece, the classic Voltes 5 theme song, or something from the latest array of music, such as Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. During the month of October, more preparations become more visible. Besides the sound of drums and lyres, the sound of the majorette's whistle can also be heard. The participants of the parade start to hold their routine practices, including parejadoras. Parejadoras are participants who usually wear wooden clogs, or also called bakya in Filipino. They wear colorful attires and hold wooden paddles that signify the history of Angono, the town that was once a fishing village. At the same time, the installment of the banderitas are being held as well. These banderitas are pretty important because aside from the fact that they give the fiesta feeling a little more boost, the banderitas used in Angono are made out of recycled materials, which is great because it minimizes the use of paper, so it saves trees. These recycled banderitas also prove that Angono is an environmentally friendly town that's synonymous to one of the current mayor's avocations called Zero Basura. Then comes the month of the festivities. The town of Angono buzzes with much life once the month of November comes around. People prepare their houses for the arrival of friends and relatives who celebrate the fiesta with them. Mothers help themselves and keep themselves busy with budgeting their money for the food to be prepared during the feast. The festival starts on the 22nd of November, and it starts off with a Bisperas Mayores, which is a parade of the marching bands and drums and lyres sponsored by each barangay of Angono. It's done in the morning and in the afternoon. and some of the giants and local officials join in the parade in the afternoon. The celebration of the festival starts with a mass the next day, and this mass is celebrated together with the bishop of Antipolo, and a parade happens right after the mass. The parade also coincides, and the festival coincides with the celebration of the feast day of the Christ the King, which is the reason why, under the slogan Viva San Clemente, there's another slogan that says Mabuhay Kristong Hari as a commemoration for the other special event. This includes all of the papier-mâché giants, the officials, and this includes papier-mâché carabaos that are beautified by extending eyelashes and putting on capes. And just recently, papier-mâché vegetables. Bonifacio Day 2017. Bonifacio Day is a national public holiday every November 30th in the Philippines, celebrating the birthday of one of the country's greatest heroes, Andres Bonifacio. In 2017, the holiday falls on a Thursday. Born on the 30th of November 1863, Bonifacio is considered the father of the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonization. He, along with some others, started a movement known as the Katipunan in 1892. The Katipunan was a secret revolutionary society that instigated military revolts against the Spanish colonizers. Bonifacio became the Katipunan's military leader and the president of the revolutionary government, which, according to some historians, makes Bonifacio the first president of the Philippine Republic. Bonifacio and the Katipunan recruited many citizens to their cause, eventually becoming the most prominent revolutionary force the Spaniards had to face. However, Bonifacio's leadership was contested by some others, and in particular Emilio Aguinaldo. After a series of leadership challenges and internal rifts, Aguinaldo violently took over the revolutionary forces and unjustly ordered Bonifacio to be tried and executed under the guise of treason. Bonifacio Day is held every November 30th, or the Monday nearest to this day, to create a long weekend. Unlike the main national hero, Jose Rizal, Bonifacio Day is celebrated on his day of birth rather than his day of death. This is because Bonifacio was killed by his fellow countrymen rather than at the hands of foreign colonizers. World AIDS Day. So what's World AIDS Day? World AIDS Day takes place on December 1st each year. It's a chance for people to unite worldwide and fight against HIV, to show support for people living with HIV, and to commemorate those who've died from AIDS-related diseases. It was founded in 1988. World AIDS Day was the first ever global health day. So why is World AIDS Day important? Over 100,000 people are living with HIV, especially in the UK, but globally, there are around 36.7 million people who have the virus. Despite the virus only being identified in 1984, more than 35 million people have died of HIV or AIDS, making it one of the most destructive pandemics in history. Today, scientific advances have been made in HIV treatment. There are also laws to protect people living with HIV, and we understand so much more about the condition. But each year, thousands of people are diagnosed with HIV and do not know about the facts or how to protect themselves and others. And the stigma and discrimination remain a reality for many people living with the condition. World AIDS Day is important because it reminds the public and government that HIV has not gone away. There's still a vital need to raise money, increase awareness, fight prejudice, and improve education. So what should we do on World AIDS Day? World AIDS Day is an opportunity to show solidarity with the millions of people living with HIV. So you can order red ribbons through online shops, pick up various promotions to support HIV. You can also order other ribbons to help fundraise AIDS trust funds and foundations. So World AIDS Day is a great opportunity to raise money for the cause, to help champion the rights of people living with HIV. So do contact someone within your country for fundraising information or for more details. You can even host your own event.
كل نجوى وينتهى كل شر
And those were the events to mark your calendars with. With that said, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back soon. Welcome back to the program กลับเข้าสู่รายการ ASEAN Challenge ค่ะและในช่วงนี้ ASEAN Interview ในเดือนพฤศจิกายนที่ผ่านมานะคะก็ถือว่าเป็นเดือนที่น่าจับตาต่อการก้าวเข้ามามีบทบาทในภูมิภาคอาเซียนนะคะของผู้นำประเทศมหาอำนาจของโลกอย่างเช่นจีนและสหรัฐอเมริกาค่ะทั้งการเดินทางเยือนเอเชียแล้วก็ชาติในอาเซียนของนายโดนัลด์ทรัมป์ของสหรัฐอเมริกานะคะและการเดินทางมาเยือนฟิลิปปินส์ของนายหลีเค่อเฉียงนะคะทางนายกรัฐมนตรีของจีนนั่นเองก็มีการลงนามความร่วมมือมากกว่า14ฉบับด้วยกันนะคะซึ่งชื่อว่าเราอย่างที่เราทราบกันดีค่ะว่าประเทศฟิลิปปินส์เนี่ยก็เคยเป็นอาณานิคมของสหรัฐแล้วก็เป็นประเทศที่มีวัฒนธรรมแล้วก็ธรรมเนียมที่คล้ายๆกับสหรัฐมาโดยตลอดนั่นเองนะคะดังนั้นนะคะการเดินทางของผู้นำทั้งสองประเทศเนี่ยก็ถือว่าเป็นสิ่งที่สำคัญต่อความสัมพันธ์ในด้านของการเป็นอำนาจใหม่ในอาเซียนนั่นเองเอาเป็นว่าเดี๋ยวเราไปดูกันนะคะว่าเป็นอย่างไรกันบ้าง
Right, let's check out the progress after the ASEAN summit in Manila with the participation of many countries including the US and China and their evaluation and their, you could say, excitement over what's to come in the ASEAN community.
U.S. President Donald Trump touted the success of his recent Asian trip on Wednesday, November 15th, highlighting calls for China to implement fair and equitable trade practices with the United States. Trump told Reuters the days of the United States being taken advantage of are over.
During our visit, President Xi pledged to faithfully implement United Nations Security Council resolutions on North Korea and to use his great economic influence over the regime to achieve our common goal of a denuclearized Korean peninsula. President Xi recognizes that a nuclear North Korea is a grave threat to China, and we agree that we would not accept a so-called freeze-for-freeze agreement like those that have consistently failed in the past. We made that time is running out, and we made it clear, and all options remain on the table. I also had a very candid conversation with President Xi about the need to reduce our staggering trade deficit with China and for our trading relationship to be conducted on a truly fair and equitable basis. We can no longer tolerate unfair trading practices that steal American jobs, wealth, and intellectual property. The days of the United States being taken advantage of are over. We remembered the incredible sacrifices and courage. When we are confident in ourselves, our strength, our flag, our history, our values, other nations are confident in us. And when we treat our citizens with the respect they deserve, other countries treat America with the respect that our country so richly deserves. During our travels, this is exactly what the world saw: a strong, proud, and confident America.
Trump returned from the 12-day trip on Tuesday night from a tour that took him to Japan, South Korea, China, and Vietnam, and the Philippines capital. Trump called for joint efforts to tighten the screws on North Korea and its development of nuclear weapons in defiance of UN sanctions.
And we have laid out a pathway toward peace and security in our world where sovereign nations can thrive, flourish, and prosper side by side. This is our beautiful vision for the future. This is a future where this vision, this dream, is only possible if America is strong, proud, and free. As long as we are true to ourselves, faithful to our founding and loyal to our citizens, then there is no task too great, no dream too large, no goal beyond our reach. My fellow citizens, America is back, and the future has never looked brighter. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all.
But at an Asia-Pacific summit in Vietnam, he declared that redressing the uneven balance of trade between Asia and the United States was at the center of his America First agenda, which he says will protect U.S. workers. China and the Philippines on Wednesday signed 14 cooperation deals as leaders of the two countries pledged to strengthen positive momentum in bilateral relations. After meeting with Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang told the press in Manila that the Chinese-Philippine relations have improved and both sides hope to work together to make up for the time that we might have lost. Li is the first Chinese premier to pay an official visit to the Philippines in a decade. He came to the Philippines at a time the bilateral ties are warming up, a development that has continued since Duterte came to office last year. Li said Duterte's visit to China in October last year was an icebreaker, and he has come this time to carry forward the traditional friendship. The two leaders witnessed the signing of the 14 cooperation agreements on infrastructure, financing, bridge construction, bond issuance, drug rehabilitation, climate change, intellectual property protection, industrial capacity cooperation. The leaders also announced the start of work for 2 river bridges in Manila and 2 drug rehabilitation centers in Mindanao. Looking forward, Li said China commends the Philippines' Vision Natin 2040 development strategy and is happy to be involved in the Philippines' large-scale infrastructure programs. Cooperation strategies spanning 5 to 10 years in areas like infrastructure can be discussed and formulated to send out a message that the China-Philippines relations will continue to go forward, he said. Li pledged 150 million yuan, or $22.7 million in grants from the Chinese government to assist the reconstruction of the war-torn Marawi in the southern Philippines. The Philippine government in October declared victory over Islamic State or IS-linked extremists in Marawi, ending nearly 5 months of fierce fighting that left many parts of the city destroyed. Li said he believed that with Duterte's leadership, the rebuilding of Marawi will be completed at a very early day and local people will enjoy an even better life. For his part, Duterte thanked China for aiding the Philippines in its takeover and rebuilding of Marawi and the assistance given to boost the Philippines' Build, Build, Build Infrastructure Development Initiative. Duterte said he is pleased to note the positive turnaround and vigorous momentum of the Philippines-China relations and said that practical cooperation in many areas is bringing in an early harvest of tangible benefits. He said the joint efforts to improve ties have secured peace, stability, and development in the region. On Wednesday afternoon, Li laid a wreath at the Rizal monument, and together with Duterte, Li attended the foundation-laying ceremony of a bridge over the Pasig River, as well as the construction launch ceremony of a drug rehabilitation center assisted by China. Before the meeting, Li attended a welcome ceremony held by Duterte. Li also met with Aquilino Pimentel, Senate President of the Philippines, and Pantaleon Alvarez, Philippine House Speaker, on Wednesday in Manila. Addressing the meeting with Pimentel, Li said that since Sino-Philippine relations were turned around last year, the bilateral ties have seen a positive momentum of improvement and development, and bilateral cooperation has been promoted in all sectors. Li said his visit is aimed to consolidate the momentum for bilateral ties and make up the time and opportunities that were once lost. He called for opening a new chapter for Sino-Philippine friendship and cooperation on the basis of mutual respect and equal treatment. Meeting with Alvarez, Li said that the Chinese and the Philippine economies are highly complementary and their cooperation enjoys great potential. Noting that the Philippines is vigorously pushing for infrastructure construction to improve people's livelihoods, Lee said China is willing to give full play to its own advantages in production capacity and equipment manufacturing, and enhance cooperation with the Southeast Asian nation in the fields. China is also willing to discuss financial cooperation in a bid to better realize mutual benefits and win-win cooperation. Meanwhile, Lee said he hopes that the Philippine House of Representatives could carry forward the China-Philippines friendship and strengthen parliamentary exchange with China so as to facilitate further development of bilateral ties and cooperation. Lee arrived in the Philippines on Sunday for an official visit to the country and a series of leaders' meetings on East Asian cooperation.
And that was our ASEAN interview this week on ASEAN Challenge. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you again very soon next week. For now, สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ